you certainly put Andrew Bailey under siege yesterday, not just you. I mean, just between us, I understand that confidentially he is having secret meetings with the Stop Oil people. He's trying to learn how to glue himself to his chair at the Bank of England.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, yeah, and the police will turn up and do nothing about it. Classic, yeah, he's got an orange high-vis jacket on. But there we go. Well, can we have a look at your 6-point plan? Because for a lot of people, what's been going on, they feel totally out of control at the minute. They're doing nothing wrong themselves. They've been paying their mortgage the whole time. They've not been overspending. They've been living a normal, nice life. And then they see a load of financial mess coming their way, and all of a sudden the house might be about to be taken off them. So you've got a 6-point plan to help improve this terrible situation. Now, I understand that first up, you want the Bank of England to cut the base rate.
I mean, I've been saying for over a year that raising interest rates just doesn't make any sense at all. I've been complaining about it, so have other people, but basically we've got what's called cost-push inflation in Earth language rather than economist language. I mean, we have non-consumer-led inflation. Consumers are not spending. People are cutting back, okay, heating versus eating. In America, they've got consumer spending. They raised the rates. Their inflation dropped by more than half to under 5%. Here, it just keeps going up. And these guys, the government, the opposition, nobody's saying anything different. All the media pretty much is saying, yeah, we're combating inflation. Well, I mean, as I said yesterday, football manager walks onto the pitch for the 13th game with the playbook for the 12 he's just lost. I don't think so.
No. It doesn't work. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. A football manager would have been sacked a long time ago.
So these guys, I'm actually starting to get worrying tweets from people about conspiracy theories. Saying stuff like, I'm sorry, Dr. Roger, nobody and groups of people particularly cannot be this stupid. This is a plot. The idea is, wait for it, to get our homes away from us by forcing us out because we can't pay the mortgages, then rent them back to us, so become a nation of renters under control, then attack the currency, which is also happening. Pound disappears. Put in place a central bank currency, a digital currency, which controls our lives and every penny we spend. I tweet back, oh, come on, really? And I tweet back, pay attention. It's getting worrying because, I mean, these guys just aren't listening.
It's getting weird. It's getting weird. Let's move on to your second point of your 6-point plan now, I believe. So you want the government to bring in a temporary reduction of VAT. Yes?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want them to stop raising interest rates and bring the rates down slowly and gradually, as they should have brought them up rather than all at once, and a temporary relief on VAT. 6 months, 12 months, just take the foot off the throat. Give people some breathing space to live. As the animal furry thing says, simples.
Simples, yes, is the meerkat. Right, OK, we're on to the third one. We're making cracking progress here. You are calling on the government to reduce the tax on fuel.
Well, that's a crazy one because people don't really realize that that's a triple tax. Now, there is what's called fuel duty on petrol and diesel. There's actually VAT on that. And the VAT is on the fuel duty, which is a tax, and on the petrol. So it's tax on tax. But it's actually triple because if you think about it, the pounds that you take out of your pocket at the pump have already suffered PAYE.
Yes.
Now, when petrol was $1.80 a litre, the government tax take was £1.56. Unbelievable.
Wow.
So for goodness sake, take a nice chunk of that so people can get to work and see their family. Take it off again for 6 or 12 months.
Yeah, exactly. And this factors all in. It all factors in as well. Because if you think I literally cannot afford now to drive to see my parents or whoever it is that you want to go and see, what about those people as well who just can't drive to work? They try and get their public transport. That's costing them the earth. It might not be running. So that's a shocker. That would be a good way of doing things. I wholeheartedly agree with you on that one. And what you said so far is, forgive me, but, relatively simple. But this next one might need a little bit more explaining, OK? So you want the government to decouple the price of electricity from gas. Go on.
Well, I mean, this is a little bit obscure simply because with so many things, the politicians obscure it with weasel words, but it's actually dead simple.
OK.
2/3 of our home energy bills are electricity. OK?
Yep.
As much as 80% of that electricity has nothing whatsoever to do with gas. But because of conventions that were made way back in the 80s when the energy companies were nationalized long ago, they never got rid of this. Our electricity is priced on the international gas price, which Putin manipulates, for goodness sake. And so when we go out for we have to go to the international gas market and buy electricity priced off that gas. Now, if you go to the National Grid's website, they've got a live real-time clock that shows you what we're really using. And if you look at it, you'll see wind, solar, nuclear, British North Sea gas, gas from the international market, 10%, 20%, 40%, sometimes less than 20%. But we're being charged at the much higher price of 100%. And one particular think tank that's done a study has estimated that we've overpaid £7.2 billion for our electricity in the last 2 years. Another company, think tank, estimates that we would knock £1,500 off every home energy bill by tea time if they simply decoupled these.
Wow.
Boris has said to do it. Ofgem, the regulator, has said to do it. John Penrose, the MP who invented the price cap, which, by the way, he says is no longer fit for purpose, has told them to do it. This government and successive governments have been told for yonks
to do it.
Both parties, and for some reason, they just don't do it.
OK, well, I'll tell you what, we are absolutely at the races here. Your fifth point of 6 is about a decision that is about to have a huge impact on people. It's Jeremy Hunt needing to defer the increase in corporation tax.
No, we're on the 5th, but I'll do that one.
OK.
He's going to decrease the corporation tax by going back to Maggie Thatcher interest deductions. So in other words, you used to be able to take the interest you pay on your mortgage, as they do in America, and well, not so much anymore. They've limited that, and deduct it. You took the interest you paid on, deducted it from your salary and your income, and that saved you some tax. Problem is, I've got tens of millions, many tens of millions out of our 68 million. I've got tens of millions of friends out there who don't earn enough money for that to make any ruddy difference at all. They don't earn enough to deduct what they pay for their mortgage. They're in trouble. They're going to lose their homes. They're part of the conspiracy. They're going to be the victims. It's Jeremy and Rishi thinking for rich people as always. It benefits the wealthy. It's ridiculous. If I can go back, the one we skipped was a very important one. The banks, like the energy companies, have made huge amounts of money from the mispricing of electricity. Not their fault.
Yeah.
And if I came and gave you a bag of dosh, you wouldn't say, no, take it back.
I would indeed take that.
Yeah, of course you would. So it's not their fault. It's the government. But like them, the banks have received a windfall of huge amounts of money as we've had 13 interest rate rises. I have had several emails shown to me, and I had one email from my own bank on my own, rather modest savings account saying, hey, oh, my God, you're not going to believe this. We are now going to pay you 1.7% on your savings.
Right.
And if you want to borrow money, it's 12%.
Of course.
The government, which could act instantly, must say to the banks, look, all this extra money that we've given you, you must take some of this and apply it to people's mortgages so they don't lose their homes. And you must pay some of it to people on their savings accounts so that it's distributed equally, but not just for the rich.
And so, to summarise, you think that there's nothing stopping all of this being done in an afternoon, and the real winners would just be the millions of ordinary Brits out there?
I'll give them a week. Let's say it could be done in a week. But the really important point about this is that unlike changes in monetary policy, which in earthling language means fiddling with interest rates up and down, which takes 18 to 24 months to work its way through the system and do any good, okay? This is immediate.
So you feel it straight away? People are sick of waiting. People are sick of waiting everything, for every single little policy to work its way through, Oh, we promise you that in a year or two's time you'll feel the benefits of this. I want to feel it now.
And they come out smiling and telling us how great we're doing. Rishi is concerning himself with AI, artificial intelligence. It's probably because we haven't got a lot of the real stuff around at the moment.
It probably is. Look, thank you very, very much. An absolute pleasure. It's been fantastic. I hope a lot of our viewers and listeners have got a lot out of that. That is the wonderful Dr. Roger Gewolb there, who, of course, was a top advisor, is indeed, should still be a top advisor, I would say, if there's a role going at the governor of the Bank of England.
They asked me why. I get all emails, why aren't you Chancellor, why aren't you governor? I said I applied, but I failed the exam because they asked me, I flubbed the question, what would you do with the $600,000 a year? And I said, I don't know.